What is up, everyone? Welcome to Hearthcenter, your Tuesday night show from THL, bringing you some of the hottest matches for the week. I am Lotus Knight, one of your hosts for tonight, and I am joined by quite the panel of hosts here. I will give my totally realistic, no chance these are fake at all descriptions of them. First of all, hailing directly from London, England, um, he weighs 89 pounds, 23 of which come from his hair. His favorite card, everyone knows this one, it is Flesh Giant. We have Ron Mexico.
Oh, we changed the card. Right on. How's it going, Lotus? Glad to be here.
Yeah, I am glad to have you. This is, as always, it's a ton of fun having you around, and you've been the original Hearth Center op. So I'm very glad to have you as always.
Right
Our
on.
next person here, right below Ron, everyone's favorite board member, hailing directly from Chicago, Illinois. We have everyone knows him. His favorite musical instrument is the synth guitar, and his favorite Hearthstone card is obviously Raised Dead. We have Desharmo.
All of those things are wrong by a lot. I like the farthest away from Chicago you could think
I
in the
was trying
United
to think
States.
what would be a really bad one.
I know. Yeah.
Everyone's favorite board member, especially. I mean,
Yeah,
seriously.
that one's pretty bad. Everybody hates me. And speaking of Bone Masher in chat, I just played him on ladder, I'm pretty sure, and he kicked my butt
Nice. Congrats to
right before
Bone
the match
Mash.
started. I think he was playing Quest Hunter, so thank you, Bone Masher, for the butt whipping.
Nice. Next, we have two special guests this week. The first one, hailing directly from California, LA. He is always sunny and always a good mood. His favorite card, as everyone really knows, is Mysterious Challenger. We have Always Just in Time.
That's surprisingly not too far off from the truth. I may be moving to the West Coast soon, but not to LA.
Nice.
And back in the day, I really did like Mysterious Challenger, mostly because I was playing a deck that was good into it, and that was the first time I
Nice.
got Legends. So I love seeing those Secret Paladins.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
thanks for having me here, Lotus.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I'm glad I got some things right. They are coincidences, but always glad they happen. And last but not least, a very loyal The Stubbs member, we have here with us, crushing it in Battlegrounds right now, and that is actually true. Our Battleground specialist for tonight, Agent PWE. His favorite card is Small Time Buccaneer. How are you doing?
Uh, Doing great. Did my best to rope joining the call, and so I got some new names from Diamond to show for that. So feeling
Nice.
on top of things.
It's okay. We can't all be always just in time.
This is true.
There it is.
I'm very glad to have everyone here around. We have quite a show tonight. We are going to start with our players of the week, as everyone knows. That's our hot start. Then we're going to hop straight into Hero Series, Battlegrounds, and Legacy and Pro. Any last comments before we get this started with Player of the Week?
Let's do it.
Okay, so I'm going to start with Hero Series. Ron, um, second, let me make sure I have this ready. Um, Tell us, Ron, who is your Player of the Week?
All right. So, player of the week. Well, heading into the home stretch of the season, APM needed a big win against F2L to stay on course for a possible playoff berth, and in stepped Nomad Farmer with a clutch 3-2 victory over Mr. F2L himself, Rabobson, to secure the 15-12 victory for his team and pick up those crucial points. Look out for Nomad Farmer and all of APM as Hero Series heats up in the final weeks.
No Mad Farmer. Is that a new player?
New this season or last season, maybe. I'm not entirely sure. I remember them from an NPH 3v3 league where they beat the crap out of me. So I, uh, I have some respect for Nomad Farmer already. So it's cool to see them doing well here in THL and Hero Series.
I believe they at least subbed some last season. I remember them joining the Discord and being pretty positive in there.
Nice. Give
Yeah,
us.
thank you, Bone Masher. Played last season too.
That's awesome. I did not know that. Since I nominated the Legacy Player of the Week, I feel like I'm the one who should read it. So, our Legacy Player of the Week is Snake Fods. Seek Guidance has been a very important part of Legacy Red Conference, as someone here knows. Contrary to many other teams, there isn't a player that's super significantly holding more weight than the others. They perform very well together with many above average results, and Snake Fods has been a core part to make this happen. After a strong sweep against an almost undefeated player in Snipe Hunter, Snake Fods was fundamental for the team's win and puts the team in an extremely comfortable spot for playoffs. This player who seriously shouldn't be a 4 seed is bringing it again. And that was written by myself.
Nice. Well done.
Now, DeSharmo, do you want to read us our pro player of the week?
Absolutely. Pro player of the week is none other than Dead Snoop 123. Sushi Rats needed a win last week to keep them in the playoff race going into the final week. And Dead Snoop's sweep helped just do that. A big 3-0 in Legacy followed up by another 3-0 in Pro week has to feel pretty good. Feel pretty great, and helping your team get to just 8 points outside of the playoff spot for the final. Icing. Good luck to Sushi Rats in this. And I don't know if you guys remember, my hot take was that Sushi Rats was going to make playoffs, and no pros here was not going to make playoffs, and that could happen.
Ooh.
I don't know if you guys remember that hot take. It was like a couple weeks ago.
Nice.
I'm sure one person here doesn't like that hot take, but we will get to pro really soon.
I'm sorry, Agent PWE. He's probably fuming. I was like, how dare you say that?
Now,
They're only 8 points back with a week to go. It could happen.
I do want to call on Justin to tell us who is our BG's player of the week.
Okay, well, our BG's player of the week. With the playoffs underway, every team was looking to get off to an explosive start, and leading the way for Concede Your Match. Agent PWE brought home a first and a second place in a star-studded Sunday lobby. This has set Concede Your Match 9 points ahead of the competition coming into the final weeks of the playoffs. Congratulations to this week's Battlegrounds Player of the Week, the one, the only, the person in call with us, Agent PWE.
Hey.
Congratulations, Agent. How does getting player of the week feel?
I'm feeling awake. I was sleeping all of
The excitement.
preseason, and
Nice.
now it's time to turn it up in the last 2 weeks and pull out all the points that I may or may not have been getting for the last 6
Nice.
weeks.
Hey, if it works in the playoffs, it's probably better than any other time to work. Especially if your team carry you all the way here.
Exactly. I was
I've
on their
ne-
back, but now it's
I've
my
never
turn.
heard someone so excited before.
I love Battlegrounds. It's my favorite game mode.
Nice.
Just kidding.
Convincing.
That is convincing.
That was my Lotus intro impression.
I'm staring at this corrupted Sid the Sloth. If it blinks twice, I think you're being held hostage.
um,
Yeah, that's quite the picture.
awesome. Should we hop in to Hero Series?
Let's do it.
Awesome. So Hero Series, I personally really like Hero Series. To talk to us about Hero, I'm going to call our hero specialist for tonight, always just in time. Justin, we have a ton of teams and the season is still far from over. Tell me, how's Hero Series going?
We actually Zero has the least number of teams of any of them, but
Yeah,
anyways,
but all
Hero
in one
standing.
conference.
Yes, most in any conference. You can see them all on the screen. Hero is a long one. It's a full 12 team round robin. So we have completed 8 out of the 11 weeks. We're beginning the ninth one now, and we see the team of the two biased hosts of this show has emerged on top. Though you could credit the slightly easier average strength of schedule. But at Diamond at 137 points, because it's 12 teams, the top 6 will make playoffs right now. So if the season were to end today, that would be Dad Legend right in and APM right out. And because it's a 16 playoffs, that means top 2 get buys. So looking like maybe a 3-team race for that, with Ad Diamond, F2L, and Bands coming up hot with some strong weeks in a row. Really pushing for those bye weeks.
Hmm.
And then towards the bottom, I mean, I guess it's possible in MPH. There's 3 weeks left, so there's definitely a gap between APM and seventh and all the teams below them. But it is only 10, 15 points, and there are 3 weeks left. So if a just win, lol. Every team, no team is mathematically eliminated yet, though some of them may be a bit less likely than others.
Yeah, I'm wondering if there isn't actually, if Snakes on a Campaign isn't mathematically eliminated, just
Oh, they most certainly aren't. I mean, like, just get 23 points 3 weeks in a row, easy.
yeah, but you
So
need
I
so many people to
But
get zero.
but
and
yeah, like what you're alluding to, there's no team that's clearly back of the pack here. It's
Yes,
a pretty linear
true.
distribution from top to bottom. There's no team that you would classify as a free week. I mean, the worst team is 3-5. Like they're still
That's
winning
true.
nearly half the weeks. So
by the
it should be a
way,
pretty good finish.
just to comment on chat here, Dr. Fish said that F2L did not make it up on the screen with the higher PPW than bands, but I think the most important tiebreaker here is logo. And
Oh,
honestly, F2L, it's just boring. It
so
it
I
just is.
wasn't going to point that out, but since you all want to get someone in the board mad, the PPW is different, even though the number of points is the same. And that was taken from the website.
Oh yeah,
So
that is the same point. That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense,
So
does it?
yeah,
That's
so the
weird.
criteria became AOS because there's something wrong with PPW, and I like band's logo more. So yeah,
Yeah,
that
I'm gonna
has
roll with the logo
yeah,
reasoning. I think that's the best reasoning. Teams are tied in points. Go with the logo that's better.
exactly. Plus that logo is fantastic, and if you're not fine with that, you can always DM Donde. He's happy to talk about it. So
Yes,
just
send all your hate to
send
Donde. Yes,
hate to
please.
him. You can always send him fan mail, hate. Please go there. He will happily take care of any comments y'all have.
Nice.
Um, everyone ready for us to look into our 3 hero matches?
Let's do it.
Awesome. I'm going to start calling. He's been a bit quiet tonight, always or not always just in time. Agent PWE. Tell me a little bit about our first match of the night. We have Bands Make Him Dance, clapping Dead Legend with a 20-4 score.
Yeah, so we have Bands, who's currently looking like they're in or tied for second place, in fact, at 129, and then Dad Legend, who's just on the brink of falling out of playoff contention at 117. And if you look all the way down, you'll see that Bands did in fact clap Dad Legend, only allowing them to get 4 points and then getting the 20 plus 3 maximum this week. Uh, The records on bands teams are kind of insane. Their worst players being arguably 3-1, which is still really good.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not really sure. In the Dad Legend, they kind of have some unfair seedings there with Risen being in the 5, which doesn't make any sense.
Mhm.
Yet still losing. So obviously, Bands is looking to stay up at the top. And supposedly, I don't know if this is true, they did this 2 weeks ago as well. So if that's true, that's kind of insane. They
2 weeks ago they 5-0'd as well, and 3 weeks in a row, 3 weeks ago they 4-1'd. They've gotten 20 points, then 23, then 23 to come shooting up from nowhere to the top. Like holy
It all
heck.
happened after they changed from their entire, identity here. The name might say Bands, but they're Barnes now, and I thought Barnes got nerfed to 5 mana, but
It did.
they're doing great here with the Barnes construction of the team. I don't know, maybe they figured something out.
I'm just happy that my team has played them already this season. I'm not gonna be the next victim.
There you go.
That is true. For our next match, I'm going to call Hero Specialist, who's not playing Hero, DeSharmo. Tell me a little about our next match. We have anyone playing Maestra, who would be technically getting a DQ, versus F2L Black.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a good win from for anyone playing Maestra. They really needed a win this week to put them back into playoff contention. And F2L Black is a team that's right there, right number 2. I mean, just top of the thing. Even though they're 4-4, they got lots of points. They've been getting points every week, and even in their losses. And right here is one of them. 12 points in a loss is pretty darn good if you ask.
Mm-hmm.
So they picked up good the points there, and that's even with a sweep too. So that means that the
Yeah.
other ones were 3-2 losses, which they were. So going down the wins here, Jammies over Neji. Anytime you beat Neji Boston, that's just
Yes.
gross.
Yeah.
Um, Itachi still doing well in Hero 4-2. I mean, when Itachi's on a tear and when Itachi's playing, he's easily a 550 player. When he's he got some stuff going on, and that might be a little bit of distraction, as we all do as adults. But when Itachi's got it going, he's got it going, and he's good. KSW, I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with this player, but it's a big win over a good player, Nice to us now, very good player there. Nomad Farmer with a big PR difference over Rebobson in a 3-2. And that's got to be one of probably the deciding match right there. Because I would have, if I was on Tavern Talk, I would have guessed that Rebobson would have easily won that one, despite
Yeah.
the record there. But good job on Nomad. And then we got Dr. Fish still on a tear, 7-1. Can't put that down there. So this one I think is good for anyone playing Maestro, and it's not that bad for Black because they're still up there. They still have to do really bad to miss the playoffs. There's still a couple weeks left, a few weeks left, so that it's possible, but I don't see them doing that. They're getting points even when they're losing. And anyone playing Maestra, they really needed this week, and I think that they're in a good spot here to start climbing the board a little bit, especially with seeing a couple teams start losing serious games here.
Mm-hmm. I think something really crazy. Neji being 3-0 just always be to me. But I think there's something interesting in the bans. If you look, it was either Rogue or Paladin. Are we getting into a meta where it's always going to be Rogue or Paladin bans here? This was. I know the meta is still not completely stable, but that's an interesting note. And
Yeah,
well, Fish
and
is also
I would.
crazy.
Yeah, I see they must have not brought. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter, but the most popular rogue right now is the Garrote rogue.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and when I have that deck, I'm always worried about warrior,
Yes.
and so we don't see any warrior bans with anybody who brought rogue. So either they were okay with that bad matchup and using rogue as sort of a counter queue,
Mm-hmm.
or just like as the other team is banning it
Yeah.
outright.
Or They just run Arcanist.
True. Or they bring
Fancy
Quest
moves.
Rogue. Quest Rogue beats Warrior pretty well.
Yeah, or
True.
just not bringing Garrote Rogue.
Yeah. Um, can now hop into our final hero match. And Justin, I'm going to call you to tell us about this match. Not two of the strongest teams in record, but a really strong showing by TPSS in their match against Snakes on a campaign.
Yeah, so these were actually the bottom two teams going into this week of play. They're no longer, I believe. I think Tampam's snuck out of the bottom two with this win. Yeah, they're up to fourth from bottom now. So yeah, I mean, like we said before, it was pretty flat power level. No one's doing significantly better than the pack, and no one's doing worse. And Tampam's had themselves a good week. Their other win this season was against the top team in at Diamond, so they're getting into a little good patch of form here. We
Yeah.
see Kazgar again taken down by Python by Sweep, but everyone else from Tampan's cleaned up. JR getting his second win of the season, and Sunday Oz and Boolean, or Sunday, sorry, Oz and Boolean ticking along. Boolean subbed in part of the way through and looks to be doing work in the five. This is someone who hasn't had a great pro season, but has certainly played pro in the past before. So on the five, it would be pretty scared if I'm an opponent facing him. So yeah,
Yeah.
looking to, I guess, like we said before, playoffs not very likely, but if they continue getting 19 points in the next few weeks, it's not out of the question. They're 20 points out of it right now with 3 weeks to go. It could
Yeah.
happen.
It could definitely happen. Um, Ron, any comments on Tanpam Surf Slam versus Snakes on a campaign?
Yeah, pretty tough loss for Snakes on a campaign. It looks to be almost killing their playoff chances. For Tanpam's definitely a nice little momentum booster, and creates that little window where it's like, hey, it's not over. We got 3 weeks. Just destroy everybody in all 3 weeks, and you can make playoffs. So very hard fought performance. Well done from Tanpam's with that bounce back week, and the window is still there. It has not
Yes.
slammed shut yet. It's like a slight crack, but it's open. It's open. You just gotta really go hard these next 3 weeks. So nice job to them and good luck in the next few weeks to come.
Awesome. Now we will hop into player power rankings. So I want to call always just in time to tell us who actually made the player power rankings. How spicy and rigged are these? So let's start by the honorable mentions. Can you tell us the 4 honorable mentions we have tonight?
Yes, so we have an honorable mention being Corden. He is now up to 7-2 after an early win this week, but 6-2 when I think these stats were
Mm-hmm.
computed. So maybe getting himself higher on the list next week. We have Nice Jewish Owl at 5-3, and then we have Starlax, Jammies, and one of our hosts right here himself, Ron Mexico. Each
I can't
at
believe Pee Wee didn't kick me off this list here by demolishing me in Hero just this week. Apparently, I'm still hanging on. All right, hey, we take those.
It was close. I mean, you're
Literally the
barely
last
hanging
one.
on.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
yeah,
yeah.
I mean,
Justin, you
Pee-wee
can
has
you can kick me off this list then.
Pee-wee does have the best record, better than anyone else in Heroes. So are we gonna see the real 1 through 10 now? See him top?
Let's
Ooh.
see. Is BWE on top of Hero Series? Tell me, Justin.
He of course. Anyone in the chat have any predictions? Last words? Nope. Of course he is not. It is Diamond.
Oh my God,
Six and
It has to
two.
be Diamond.
unbelievable.
Fewer teams for his points for his opponents. We're smack score, beating out Agent TWE. He had a few sweeps early in the season against people with positive record. So that
Incredible.
gives you a stupid amount of PPR points for
Yes.
no particular reason. Uh, Turns out if you beat someone when they're 2-1, it gives you a lot more points than if you beat them you beat them next week when they're 2-2. So Diamond the beneficiary of that. Kiwi it's second place though at 7-1. So winning does get you some places. And oh okay, sorry I did forget about Dr. Fish as well. Also 7-1. He's in fourth place, beaten out by Base in third, and then we have a few more names of people we've seen doing well. Nails, Super Chicken, who I've seen in the chat. Shout out to you. Nomad Farmer, who we talked about, to this week's Player of the Week. Me, myself, and I. No, that's someone else, but always just in time. Then Nine Eyebrows and wow, the rigger himself, Donde at 5-3, hudding himself at 10th, thinking no one would notice.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Passing up Corden and Starlax with better records there. Well played, Donde.
Wow.
Rigging it just right.
I'm gonna be
Although
scared
Donde
facing
does
Donde.
have a 19-12 win record there. That's pretty good. Same as like Nine Eyebrows, who sticks it too. So
Oh yeah, no, it definitely looks better than Corden's 19-11 and 6-2.
Well, instead of spending a ton of time questioning Donde's ratings, which we all know are wrong, I'm
True,
gonna
true,
move us over
True,
to
very true.
our next series, assuming everyone is ready. Any final words about Hero?
Send
go.
hate mail to Donde. Let's move on.
Yup. Now, Agent PWE, since you're our BG's specialist for tonight, we're in the last week of BG's. How are finals going? What is going on? How did this week go? Tell us about it.
All right, so we are in the finals or semifinals or however you want to think about it. There are 4 teams left, and so there's only one lobby each week or two lobbies, two A and B of green. And
Mm-hmm.
so
One or two, make up your mind.
yes, yes. Um,
Make sure you never do anything with maths.
uh, I wish you told me that sooner. But with Concede Your Match, Crafty Monkeys, Risky Refresh, and Team Phantom Force in the finals, after the first split of Green Lobby, we had, oh, I have no idea who's on what team, I'll be completely honest, but
Oh, that's fine.
Jammies, Jammies and Steffi going on top with 17 and 15. And if they're on the same team, that's pretty good. Although I'm gonna guess that they're
So
not.
yeah, Jammies plays for Donde, and
Donde.
Steffi is on Risky Refresh.
Okay, I assumed that. And then Damon and Snakefod. So the top four all being on different teams. So after the first split, I think things were looking pretty close. And so the bottom four were also on different teams. But
Mm-hmm.
then, but then on the B split, fortunately enough for the top team, my top team of Concede Your Match, the Superior come uh, quite the number of
Oh, no.
points for by the top two who happen to be on the same team with me and Ked. Maybe high rolling, maybe outskilling the lobby. Depends who you ask. Uh, Turtle not doing too bad with the first on the board, and then Brushy going an average of about 4.5. And then the rest of the lobby just trying to pick up the rest of the points where they can. Uh, I'd say that Kat and I's good performance has allowed Concede Your Match to be at the top by more than a couple points, although it's definitely possible for the other teams to come back. And
Oh
I'd
yeah.
say, but Don Daith, Risky Refresh, and Crafty Monkeys are all within a few points of each other, so they could easily shuffle around too, if not just completely take over this next last week.
Yeah, what a crazy B split lobby
Right?
there. Yourself and your mom Ked just completely demolishing there. And you got so many points for Concede Your Match. It really sets up the finish that we've been talking about for a little while, the storybook season for Concede Your Match. They were just almost there, but couldn't quite get the title in the first season, and then again in the next season. There was always some
Mm-hmm.
titan that was ahead of them, and now this season, Concede Your Match was down at the very bottom, right? To early on in this season, it looked like they weren't even going to make playoffs. We were like, what's going
Yeah.
on with this team? And now, well, up at the very top with barely any time to go. Nice
That
While
job.
we have you on the show, Pee-wee, well, I think we need official word on how many arrows are there in that Concede Your Match logo.
I'm gonna go with 10.
Okay,
Sure.
There's most certainly 10. Don't count them.
And
great.
can you
Great.
tell us for the next Battleground season, will Concede Your Match be back with even more deep fried of a logo?
Um, I don't want to spoil anything, but I want to say that we have high hopes for this season, and that's our focus right now.
Solid
Yep.
answer. Well
Yep.
politicked.
Uh,
If we do end up getting Concede Your Match T-shirts, will those be even more deep fried?
Nice.
Just yours.
Oh,
um,
fancy.
I will do a final BG's word from everyone. This is not usually what we do, but specifically for the finals week, I think it's fine if I ask everyone who do they think is going to win, and I will skip BWE because I think the answer is kind of obvious. Um, I will leave him for last. But Ron, which team is winning BG series?
It's gonna be Concede Your Match.
Desharmo, which team is winning BG series?
I'm going for Doned eighth, but I think Concede Your Match is gonna win it.
Justin, who wins BG series?
Come.
Nice.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Agent PWE, who wins BG series?
I'm gonna have to say risky refresh.
Solid. Full
Nice.
representation.
Oh my
Well
god.
done.
Awesome.
Well, Concede Your Match and Crafty Monkeys are both have that same acronym, so we don't know which one uh he was talking about.
True. I think that was the
Yes.
plan. He straddled the line.
So we're going to see this week. There's still a lot to go, even with a bit of room for concede your match, but there's still a lot of time. Anything could happen. Now, I will bring us back to our caster screen where you can see everyone here's
Stop picking
and
your nose, Ron.
we have our special Prime announcement. Desharmo did it last time. Since I didn't tell Always Just in Time or Agent PWE to prepare ahead, I think Ron can do this one. How do you feel, Ron?
Yeah, I'm down.
So we'll
I know
get
Justin's read it quite a few times, but I'm down to do it.
true. Um, Now let's have Ron do it this week because he didn't do it last week.
All
Next week I
right.
did challenge Steffi to do it, so we're going to see if Steffi can make it.
Looking forward to that. All right, let me shake off the rust. Let's dive into it. Hey there, Twitch viewers. If you subscribe to Team Hearth Legends yet, no, then make today the day to be a legend yourself and subscribe to our channel. This subscription enables the THL team to help cover the various costs for operating our website, as well as improve the quality of our streams and content to our viewers. If you have Amazon Prime or Twitch Prime, you can actually subscribe to this channel for free. Subscribers will get a THL emoticon, as well as a lovely THL chat badge. So hit that heart button and keep the notifications on to make sure you catch our team broadcasting live. We appreciate each and every one of you. Special note to our viewers, check out THL's other social media points of interest, our website, teamhearthlegends.com. Follow us on Twitter at THL_HS. Join us on Discord, Team Brothers. Check out the THL PAL podcast for power rankings for all series, wherever you find your podcasts. The true Hearth Legends himself, Saku, continues to post all of our videos on our YouTube channel. Just search for Team Hearth Legends to catch everything previously recorded. You're, of course, watching us on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Team Hearth Legends, or possibly on our YouTube channel in the future. And for all you THL fanatics out there, there are THL shows every single day of the week, except, some of the time when there's not. You can't go wrong tuning in at any time for some amazing Hearthstone-related content. Now back to the good part.
Awesome. Thank you, Ron, for the always fantastic Prime announcement. So we now move into Legacy Series, the actual biggest series in number of teams, but not the actual biggest conference. And to talk about Gold Conference, Ron, please join me in telling me how are the Wisps doing? Are they still on top? Do the Golden Wisp or the legendary Golden Wisp reign still continue?
I mean, come on, man. What kind of question is that? Of course they're on top. They're the Golden Wisps. It's insane. This team is just so incredibly dominant. This is one of those seasons that we've seen occasionally from teams. Justin could probably tell us a little bit about this from Foolish Madmen in a season past, where it was just wire to wire, complete dominance of Legacy. And once again, they're clearly the team to beat, and they are just killing it. But I want to talk a little bit about the Cult Legacy moving their way on up to the number 2 spot, getting their logo up there on the screen and moving into very strong playoff contention here. And then we've got, if the playoffs were to start today, the Light Showers are in great shape to make playoffs, would be in if it started today, as would be Defias Brotherhood. Meanwhile, Dad Legend just barely out of range. And Meme Dream Team, Flame Pimps, Serenite Pain Gang, all, unfortunately for them, very likely to miss playoffs. Pain Gang already looking forward to the next season. But the other two, Meme Dream Team and Flame Pimps, I think it might be mathematically over. Maybe not
Um,
exactly, but like a ludicrously impossible type of situation, right? Where like
yeah,
Defias has to get 0 and Flame Pimps has to put up a 20.
Well,
Um,
Defias plays Serenite Gang. I don't think that's probably going to happen.
right. Yeah. I mean, we
fair.
can pretty reliably say that the playoff contest in gold is down to realistically 5 teams. Dad Legend is trying to crack in, and one of these other teams ahead of them is trying to hang on to that spot.
Yeah. How many teams make it? Gold conference. Is it
Or
So
4?
4 for each conference in a 24 team series.
Oh, that's
now,
crazy.
yeah, and I was telling you guys pre-show, there's a possibility one of a team might be 6-3 and miss the playoffs.
Oh
That's
yeah,
insane.
yeah. Dad Legend or Defias. I mean, or Light Showers. Even all 3 of those teams, very possibly they could have a winning week and get jumped by someone else. It's just
Well,
gold has been insane.
I know this is a Tavern Talk update take, but this week Colt is playing Light Showers, so they're playing each other. So if they
Ooh.
get enough points, like if one team they both get enough points, it's easy for both of them still to make it. And
So a
True.
lot of teams are rooting for the match to be a bloodbath. Like it doesn't matter really who wins, but we just need that match to have a team be completely destroyed.
yeah,
Interesting.
Yeah,
Um,
Legacy is weird this season because it feels like, at least for seeing how they play and seeing how they've done cross conference and looking at their rosters, it feels like the 3 strongest teams by far are in the same conference: and Golden Wisp, Colt, and Ellie, and the Light Showers. They don't always all have the highest point totals because they've been having to slug it out with each other. But I'm
Yeah,
certainly happy to not be in Gold Conference with my Legacy team.
yeah. Gold is brutal right now.
Uh,
yeah.
I think both red or silver, they can fight out of which one's the more free, but it's definitely not gold. That's all I know.
yeah. 121 points is if you look at the other conferences, it's enough points to be in the playoff race, like be solid third or fourth spot. So
Oh yeah. You're not worried if you're in another conference with that kind of
nope.
point total. It just happens.
Interesting. Now I will call on Agent PWE to talk to me about the first match. We're going to see the Golden Wisps in action against the one and only Meme Dream Team. How was the Golden Wisps versus Meme Dream Team, Agent PWE? Was it a bloodbath?
Uh, well, we had the Golden Wisps, who I imagine were on top last week, and then the Meme Dream team, who are basically as far away as you can be without having
Mm-hmm.
0 wins. And as you would expect, the Golden Wisps took down Meme Dream Team. Although Meme Dream Team did do a good job at getting a couple game wins in there instead of not getting swept completely like we saw with the bans in Hero. So even though it was a 4-1 match score, they did put up 10 points. So not a complete disappointment that week, but Golden Wisps, all their players doing good things, picking up the wins against a team that they should beat. And
Mm-hmm.
then I imagine that their AOS is so high because they haven't had the chance to fight Serenite Pain Gang. So they're only gonna pull further ahead, I imagine, in these last few weeks.
Hmm. Yeah, it's either SPG or Flame Pimps, both of which seem way lower than the rest. Um, Now, Desharmo, or actually not Desharmo, Justin, any comments on the Golden Wisp versus Mean Dream Team?
I think you guys summed it up pretty well. Another week of dominance for Golden Wisps. They're averaging slightly under a 4-1 each week, at 18 points per week, where 4-1 would normally be 19 or 20. And what do you know, they got another 4-1 this week. just not even exceptional for them. Just beating
Yeah,
up on another good team here.
just doing their thing.
Yeah, just another week in the office.
Awesome. Ron, why don't you hop in to talk about our next match? And Agent PWE can probably send some comments after that, but I want to ask you, Ron, about Agent PWE Elemental and the Light Showers versus the Defias Brotherhood.
Absolutely. So this is a big match with playoff implications here. These teams very possibly can just meet again in playoffs because I think most likely both of them are making it, but it was a hit for Defias, and it opens the door a little bit for Dad Legend to get closer and take their spot. Defias hanging on to that fourth place spot, and the Light Showers now in the three, largely because of this win. So, starting off down the line, Agent PWE in the one, taking that 5-game victory over Classy Thug, two very strong players this legacy season with good records. Nails absurdly in the two right now, a consistent, top 10 legend player,
Right.
top one
No.
a lot of
Look
the
at look
time.
at his look at his name in the THL Discord. He's a 2 seed.
But hanging out in the two for some reason, and I mean a lot of credit to Wild9, who's a great player in their own right,
Hmm.
taking it to 5 games, but Nails gets the victory there. Nebkanuk coming through big for Defias though in the 3 seed with a sweep, getting some much needed points. And then Canoe and Eternal closed it out with victories over Comp and the Real Allure, or maybe the Realer, whatever. Canoe getting that Canoe getting that 3-1, and Eternal getting that 3-2. And I mean, I think this just kind of shows a little bit of a separation between these top three and the rest of the teams in gold. I would say this kind of comfortably puts it to where I would call Wisps, Cult, and Light Showers making the playoffs, and it's a realistic race between Defias and Dad Legend. Uh, Sorry, Desharmo, but I gotta say that Defias is still gonna make it here. You might be seeing a Dad Legend 6-3 missing playoffs, which I mean, I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I love to clown on Dad Legend for missing playoffs. It's
Yes.
fantastic.
Well, I mean, in terms of like I said mentioned before, Cole and Light Showers play each other, so there
Yeah,
are
no,
playoff
they'll
games there.
just it'll be like a
And
14 to
and
16 or
Defias
something.
absolutely makes it. They're not getting smashed by SP. They're going in.
Yeah.
So if Dad Legend makes it, it's going to be on the backs of Colt or Agent PO or the Light Show.
I will call Agent PWE the team, the one whose team name represents himself. Agent PWE, tell us a little bit, any extra insights you want to give about this match.
Uh, so our original 5 seed, I think it says Eternal's a sub. I think he's a permanent sub. You may have noticed that Canoe is only 2-1. We had a few subs for him in the four there at the beginning of the season, but those two should be all set now. So look out for PLE and the Light Showers, whose name was not my idea, I swear.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Fair.
I think we can climb up to the second spot. The Golden Wisps seem unpassable right now, so I'd kind of lock them for playoffs.
Nice.
Yeah, Canoe had a series of concussions where he couldn't be looking at a screen for a while, but he's back feeling better now. And I mean, as Tespa teammates with him, he should just simply not be in the four. we won Cash and Tespa together. He's a very good player. he's a 3 or a 2 seed bang on. He memed one time last season and brought a quad OTK lineup in Barons and won with it. He brought
Nice.
the Chinese wild like OTK rogue, or sorry, the standard version with like what was it, Alex and Scabs? He played it
Oh,
like
right.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that
he
one.
played it like 50 games on ladder, like over the 2 days leading up to it, and had like the sickest high roll and the turn 8 lethal on stream of it ever. He played that. He played
Nice.
Lee Rock's Beast Hunter. He played Silas OTK Warrior, and he played Lifesteal DH, and then won a THL match with it. It was the most epic thing ever.
Looking forward
Nice.
to that kind of lineup in playoffs. Let's see
Yeah,
some real
Right.
flexes going on.
he'll just like pick a deck he likes and then practice a ton of it, get very good at it, and just doesn't matter what the opponent's playing, blow their socks off with it. So,
That's
uh,
awesome. Um, shall we move to Red Conference?
Sounds good.
Let's do it.
We do wish Canoe a quick recovery, by the way. I'm sure I'm speaking because he had some concussions, according to Justin. I know I'm speaking for everyone here when I say, hope you recover as fast as possible.
it
Now,
was not
Absolutely.
quick, but he's better now.
oh, good. Um,
Yeah, for
now
sure.
we're going to move into everyone's fishiest conference. I hope you're all ready to talk about the Red Conference. And joining me
Let's do it.
to talk about it is always just in time. Justin, tell me a little bit about Red Conference.
Yeah, so I mean, things look kind of resolved-ish. 3 teams-ish look locked for playoffs. Kanahura, knock on wood. My team being one of them, being the least locked of the top 3 there, and then 3 more look to be competing for that last slot. Uh, and of course, as we discussed before, there's 3 conferences, 4 teams per conference making playoffs, so 12 teams total making conference, which means you guessed it, 4 teams getting a bye. So it will be each conference winner first place, along with the top scoring second place in all the other conferences. And currently, going into this week, the highest scoring second place team belonged to Red Conference, so that could very much change based on wins and margin of victory this past week. So it is very much, with the exception of STD and the Stubbs, every team there has something to play for this week, whether playoffs or a bye. So it should be a lot of interesting matches going into this last week.
Yeah. And I will hop right in to the match. Agent PW, why don't you tell me about our first match this week? We have Seek Guidance versus the Cooler.
All right, so we have Seek Guidance, which was my old team that I had been on. I played with Pasca for the past 3 seasons, maybe. But we had to restructure due to PR issues. So the new lineup here, we had Bruto losing 2-3 to CBX1 from the Cooler. Y the Hunter in the 2, taking it 3-2 over Icer. Skittles somehow in the 3, because that makes sense.
Yep.
Winning 3-2 over Bremen. Snake Fods, who's doing substantially better in Legacy than he is in Hero, with the sweep over the Snipe Hunter, who appeared to have been on a roll up until that point. And then Jolt C, taking the 3-1 against Mako, who is somehow in the 5. Yeah, both of those things do make sense. And Seat Guidance with a pretty comfortable 4-1 over the Cooler. Cooler probably wishes that they were able to win that one, but they got enough points that hopefully if they pick it up a little bit with their other matches, they might have a chance or definitely have a chance at securing at least that 4th spot for playoffs.
Yeah, definitely true. Seek Guidance is a team that they've consolidated a lot, and this match was quite important to get there. Desharmo, any thoughts on this match before our next match in Red Conference?
No, I think you guys covered it really well. I mean, Seek Guidance just put himself in a really good position, and the Cooler making it a little bit more difficult for them to get in the playoffs.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Sea Kinds have been going on a tear recently. Definitely a bit of a scary team right now. They have Brudo perma-subbing in for Magnificent, who Magnificent definitely a good player. Handed me one of my losses in
Yes.
Legacy this season, but Brudo multiple ladder
Yeah.
finishes for Masters Tours. That feels a little unfair. Like spiking this team up to the
Right?
next level maybe come playoffs time. Uh, they they may not end up getting a
Classic
bye. If
Pasca
so, I
move.
would not want to be the team facing them round one of playoffs.
Pasca using those connections.
Yeah. It's after the season he got Monsanto in Hero. Um,
Yeah,
now,
that was versus me, by the way.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I know.
So lucky for Desharmo to just play against Monsanto in a random THL match.
If I have a higher true PR in Hero than Monsanto, does that mean I'm a better player than him?
Yes.
I'm pretty
Question for
sure,
the
yeah.
audience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Um, now, Justin, I'm going to give you your own match here. Why don't you tell us about Team Justin versus F2L White?
Yeah, so we were two teams chasing playoffs going into this week. Knew this would be a big one as the six teams, four playoff spots coming up to it. And fortunately, our Justins, my boys, my Justins, one of those descriptors, were up for it. Came out raring with three victories to start the series. Though I guess actually the third and fourth matches were played simultaneously. But then however you want to count it temporally, after White showed why they've accumulated the number of points they have in this conference and hit back with a victory in the 5 seed and the 2 seed to make the score line a bit closer and keep themselves in this playoffs hunt, where maybe we got a little ahead of ourselves, hoping for a 5-0 or something to catapult us into this bye slot for first place, brought back to reality. But yeah, with the exception of the very first match of the week of Justin sweeping Rebob, all of them were quite close. Justin prevailing over Slad in 5 games. Justin on stream beating Vino in 5, and then Justin going down to Totino's in 4, and then of course to round off Justin losing to Mayan in 4. But yeah, I don't know. Two decent teams. Not great teams, hence the score being close.
I like how
Well
I could
matched.
hear the approval in your voice of the Justins who won compared to the disapproval of the Justins who lost.
Yeah.
Indeed, indeed. We do have a super sub available. There's a Justin waiting in the wings who
Oh,
has
it's amazing.
qualified for ladder to a Masters tour. So he has 550 PR, but if
Ooh.
Oh
we
my
ever
God.
need it, he is available for a super sub. So hopefully
Justin in
we
your back pocket. Incredible.
indeed. Hopefully for our opponent's sake, we won't lose enough games that we have PR to use him. But if so, then oh man, things might get messy.
Sure.
What a strategy.
But yeah, yeah, it's
Um,
a fun game.
I think this is it for Legacy Red. I will keep us moving to try to keep us under an hour and a half, everyone, so I can sleep a bit more tonight. We still have a lot to talk, though. I'm pretty sure we're bursting the time, anyways. So, Ron, why don't you join me in telling us about what is going on in the Silver Conference?
All right. So Legacy Silver, our last conference of Legacy, and it is once again, as we've seen through pretty much all of Silver in this season, Wallet Warriors just crushing the conference, and APM fairly close behind our top 1-2 punch in this conference that I'm pretty certain has locked up playoffs. And then you have a ton of contenders for the final playoff spot. The only team that is out is Redfish. Unfortunately for them, they haven't been able to find that victory. But Illidan's Death Knights and not Justin would be in the playoffs if they started today. I think based on tiebreakers, unless Dirty Mike and the boys actually gets the tiebreaker over not Justin. Not totally sure on that, but not something we need to worry about for right now because there's still
Right.
another week. And then Amber Flight Gaming just a little bit behind those two, followed by Hot Zilfs at 106, are defending champions, by the way, of Legacy Series, still with a chance at making playoffs and who knows, catching fire in a crazy run again.
That's
Um,
true.
But this conference is just all over the place. There's a clear top two, and there's a bunch of others. 3 through 7 can all realistically make playoffs in the final week, given a big performance and a letdown from some of their other teams ahead of them.
Yeah. Speaking of big performances and letdowns, Ron, why don't you tell us about our first match of the week? We have the Wallet Warriors tying our favorite result. We have a tie against Not Justin.
Man, what a letdown. Oh, you hate to see ties. Now, ties are fine. Ties are fun. It was interesting here to look at this match unfold as, both teams just well, one team obviously Wallet Warriors not really needing to play for much, just, locking things up. Look at Mojo Powell there. It looks like he sweeps every single week, and he is 8-0 in that 5 seed, just carrying this team. He is an absolute monster in the 5 right now. But not Justin, credit to them, really competitive. They played the top team in silver to a standstill, with Mr. Beluga taking that 3-2 victory over Tavin. Automated Button getting the 3-1 over Nice Jewish Owl. Jimbo taking down Turtle 3-1. And then the bottom 2 seeds for Wallet Warriors been very strong all season long, and that's a double sweep there to make it that tie. So it was, and from Bone Masher, apparently the final match played was a sweep to get the tie. So very
Yes,
interesting.
exactly what you alluded to earlier. The final match was the 5 seed, Mojo needing to sweep, but that seems to be what he's doing every week this season in Legacy. Got it done.
Yeah, Wallet Warriors is like, oh, in order to tie, we just need Mojo to sweep. Okay, well, he does that every week, so cool. I guess he's gonna do it again, and look at that, he did. Just absolutely insane right now. But Wallet Warriors, I think they can relax. They've got playoffs on lock, and not Justin. Kudos to them for getting a good amount of points here and staying in striking distance. A solid week next week, and they're in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel a little bad for Ari, as I know her personally. She's pretty bright, and 2-6 with the collection she's had to work with is quite good. is
Sure.
all I'll say. Definitely, despite getting swept to cause the tie, definitely she put her
Yeah.
best foot forward and
Well,
has had a good
don't feel
season.
bad, Ari. I have a full collection, and I am 2-6. So sometimes, sometimes it just happens. But that's a very valid excuse. I have none.
Yeah. I will use this as a segue to our next match. I didn't want to give this to you, Ron, because I don't want to hear you gloat. So I'm going to ask DeSharmo, is it ever
Oh,
too
that's the
late
worst
to
person you can give it to.
apologize? Or is there still flight for Amber Flight Gaming?
Oh my.
Wow. Uh, you. That's a question you really want to throw at me with Ron
Yes.
right here.
Yes.
Um, that team is not trash because of their 1 seed.
Oh, for sure.
That guy literally has the same amount of wins as the rest of the team. He is 8-0, and the rest of the team has 8. So thank you to Neji Boston. And he continues his tear over another 550 player in Earl. Illidan's Death Knights, a team that was last week. What we when you look at their points and stuff, it would look like they were clearly in the playoff race. And now this week, there's a chance. There's a
Mhm.
big chance. And just like we saw in the other conference, a 6-3 team missed the playoffs. It looks very likely that a 3-win team might actually make the playoffs in this conference.
Wow.
So, yeah, but
Yeah,
this goes.
as an aside, Amber Flight Gaming does play Redfish in the final week of the season.
Yes.
Redfish
So
about to get their first win of the season. You heard it here
Easy.
first,
Easy.
yeah.
I
Uh,
mean, obviously, Neji Flight Gaming, Neji wins in the one, but then the rest of the team just throws, and Redfish gets that dub. Go on, Desharma, sorry.
Anyway, I like Emberflight Gaming doing really well here. Illidan's Death Knight's not a good loss here. This is what Emberflight needed to go into their last week playing the last seed of the conference. Emberflight Gaming, very likely they could make it. They're only 2 points off of a position. I believe a full sweep off of Redfish would sort of, I would say, almost ensure their
Mm-hmm.
position into the playoffs.
Yeah. And I just want to congratulate Brushy Tuna on having his team have a chance to make Legacy playoffs. Now, are we ready to talk about player power rankings, the Legacy series?
Let's do
Um,
it.
awesome. So I'll be joined by Agent PWE. And Agent, tell me, what are the honorable mentions for Legacy series?
Starting from the bottom up, Tavin M at 6-2 in the Silver Conference. Your Mumked at 5-3 in Gold. Magnificent, who I think has since retired, but is still on the honorable mentions list at 5-1. Always Lethal at 6-2, and Stev at 6-2.
And who's actually got it to make him to the top 10?
And then the top 10, starting at number 10 again, we have always just in time, the Justin, 6-2, barely finding his way into actual number ranking. We have Nails at who is 6-2, Jolt C, 6-2. There's a lot of you'll see a lot of 6-2 here. Agent Pee Wee, me, 6-2. A2, our first 7-1 in coming in at sixth. We have Jim Pelos, who's 6-2 is better than everyone else's 6-2.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, in fourth at 7-1, we have Lawful Dog from Red. And then the beginning the top three, we have Epic Mingo, who I think is 7-1. This says he's 6-1, but I want to say he's 7-1. With a 23-9 game score, which is quite good. But you do see that one loss, and unlike Mojo Powell in the two with an undefeated 8-0 and 24-8, but of course, going 8-0 and 24-8 is not good enough to get the one when Neji Boston, the Neji Boston, uh, also putting up an 8-0 and a 24-8. So the Silver Conference really showing us how not to lose here.
Yeah, that is crazy. Two players at 8-0 at this point in the season. That's so insane.
Yeah, it's a little bit less insane seeing that they both came from Silver because Silver has been a little rocky this season. And Neji's a Silver 1 and Mojo's a Silver 5, and identical records, both undefeated. They've been very impressive players so far this season, but I'm not sure if we see that same kind of record if they played in Gold.
Nice.
Can't wait for the Jim Philos MVP.
Let's go,
um.
Jim. He's got my vote.
Oh,
Yeah,
mine as
shout out to
well.
Jim. I see you in the chat. Good guy as always.
Um. So, are we done with Legacy? Any final words about Legacy series before we move into our last but not least series here, Pro Series?
Just good luck to everybody in the final week. It's playoff time almost.
Yeah. DeSharmo, why don't you join me to talk about the Black Conference in the Pro Series?
Yeah, absolutely. The Black Conference is sort of coming to uh, fruition here with its standings. You have 4 teams sort of clearly in the top 4, and then one team that has a very outside shot of making it in, and then 4 teams that are not in the playoff race. Those teams are the top 2 teams are For the Clowns and Brushy Tuna. Uh, Brushy Tuna tied with Bread Ape, but I believe the AOS the strength of schedule. It makes it a little bit more difficult for Brushy Tuna, so they get the nod there. And then no pros here with a 3-4 record in fourth place. That just goes to show you that points really do matter. It doesn't matter. The wins in the team record doesn't matter as much as points per week.
Yes.
That's why whenever I have my teams and we're losing, and we're like there's one match left, I always remind my players, hey, get some points because that really does matter in the end, and not
Yeah.
giving up on the week. So Sushi Rats, although a better record, not as many points per week.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And what's surprising, and I was talking to Ron about this, when we got to our team, we were like, we do not want to play Hype Horizon last because they were so good all the last couple of seasons, and then this season just sort of slowly fading.
Yeah, Hype Horizon seemed like they kind of took the season off. They're just kind of relaxing now.
Might
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
say they were?
I'm very glad to
there's-
see the copy pasta going on right now.
Might you
By the
say
way.
they were overhyped Horizon?
Oh,
Huh?
Ayo.
I said that like 3 seasons ago, and they won the title that season. So I think they proved me wrong. But
now you can say it again comfortably. You just gotta cherry pick your spots here.
Exactly. Just gotta pick the evidence to fit my conclusion.
Now, to talk to us about our first Black Conference match, I'm actually going to call Ron Mexico here, the captain of Brushy Tuna, to tell us about Brushy Tuna versus No Pros here, and I will ask DeSharmo and Agent PW for their comments right after that.
Sweet. All right, so let's go through it. Brushy Tuna versus No Pros here. This was really close, and yeah, there's a special 2-seed match that I'm gonna reserve for DeSharmo and Agent PWE to talk about. We're just going to pass over that. But I will say that that was the final match that was played. So starting off in the 1 seed, yours truly, Ron Mexico, started off with the 3-1 over your mum kid. Based Inc. taking a 3-2, very close series against Quaz 1291. Lulnenko took a dominating sweep over our one and only host,
True.
Lotus Knight.
True.
Dominating.
Lotus just wanted to head on back down to the 5 seed, but Donde wouldn't let him
No.
because Escamay took that 3-1 over Donde and set the stage for a game deciding match. Brushy Tuna on a 2-game skid. No Pros here needing all the points they could to try to better their playoff chances. And it came down to DeSharmo versus Agent PWE. Take it away, guys.
Yeah, I mean, from outside looking in, this match looks like easy claps. Can move on to the next one.
Yeah, I guess my match with Agent PWE got Agent PWE wasn't really favored in the lineups that were there. It was going to be difficult for him, and he had some really bad draws on his Anaconda Druid he brought, and I can say that because you can just go look at the decks. I'm not cheating.
Sure.
Hero Legacy. But yeah, it was close, and it was a hard fought match. Like he was one turn away from turning things around, one card away from turning things around, and that this is just I like personally I like to change things up every week, and this is why I like to change it up just so that you can't really I don't know if he was or wasn't, but I mean, he's here, but I don't like when people use my previous matches to their advantage. So every now and then I'll just like, oh, I'm going to go to something completely different that I would do.
Yeah.
And that's what I did.
Nice. Agent PW, anything you want to add about this match?
I'm glad DeSharmo talked first because I didn't want it to sound like copium when I said that his lineup just beats mine. So uh,
Fair.
had to get a little lucky if I wanted to win, and that the expected outcome happened. I got a game, which is I think pretty good for my overall chances.
Dude,
Going
that
into it,
rogue match was gross. On turn one,
Oh.
you coined out a 1/4. On turn two, you played the what do you call it?
The field contact and then
Field
like
contact plus
4
2.
cards.
No,
Oh,
yeah,
God.
plus 2 Wand Thief plus the Divine Shield guy. It's like, oh, this is. I saw that turn. I was like, oh, this is over already. I was like,
Yeah.
Desharmo,
"Such."
man after my own heart, wins 3-1, focuses on the one loss.
We just
I feel
needed
you,
every
buddy.
game to go like that. Unfortunately,
Yeah,
not quite the average draw there, so couldn't quite get there. I was preparing for the match. I was looking at your decks. I'm like, I want to ban all of them. Wasn't really an option. So yeah, it was a good match, and you
Mhm.
know the prep phase is just as much or just as important as the okay, yeah, just as much, but has importance too, not just your play. So I'd say
Yeah.
Deshaun did a really good job there.
yeah, and I think both of these teams are probably playoffs, barring any
Yeah,
like.
that for sure. Like that's a solid amount of points for NPH and a loss. So they have an 8-point lead on Sushi Rats, who's the next closest to making it into playoffs. And as long as they can kind of maintain things, it's very likely that they make it as well next week.
They do have the weakest AOS though, so I just want to keep that in mind while we move on to our second match. Um, Now I will call on Always Just in Time. Tell us a bit about Sushi Rats versus Make Love, Not Warcraft, two of the best names in Pro right now.
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't find the unmute button there. But yeah, two teams right on the bubble here. Top 4 out of 9, I think, as you mentioned before, makes playoffs. So 1 week left. It's possible, a little outside of it. They both needed to pick up big points this week. Neither of them did, but Rats picked up slightly more. Pocket Train, was he still rank 1 legend when he played this match? I'm not sure, but no surprise in getting the win. Though
Yeah.
probably helpful that he got the sweep. Uh, Sergeant Teabag as well was also able to dispatch of Hicket, but the other 3 matches went the Sushi Rat's way, with Griff beating Romac and Dead Snoop beating Draco Cat, and Sprinkle beating Flawless Slays. The two of them, especially at the bottom, not appearing to have the greatest of seasons. But at least Draco Cat brought his Demon Hunter. Appears he didn't win on it this week. It wasn't even a respect band. No, you don't like to see that. uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, but both these teams, I guess, doing by getting 11 points, even a loss, Make Love Not Warcraft is putting themselves still in the conversation of mathematical possibilities for playoffs. Uh, oh
Yeah.
wait, no, wait, they're oh, I can't read. They had an early bye. Nope, just kidding. They're on a bye week last week. No, they needed a lot more points than this, and they didn't get it.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
fair.
closest by
Bye week in the
me.
last week is rough when you need more
Scratch
points.
that.
So
Okay,
I'll
so
just eliminate
Sushi
that.
Rats getting the win they needed to keep them in contention. Let's go. So I believe one man in this call had a hot take about Sushi Rats and NPH. Are you still of that belief? They do have one more win than NPH, though a lot fewer points. So I guess some 3-2s and then maybe some 1-4s.
I
Oh,
think
Desharma only doubles down.
well, I said it was a hot take, so that probably happened. But anyway, Faction still has a chance, though. I mean, they're 16 points off of fourth place. I mean, I'm not no pressure, but NPH is playing for the Clowns, the number 1 seed right now, and for the Clowns does want to play well because they don't want to lose that 1 seed. So, just I think that No Pros here can do it though. They're a good team.
Yeah. As a reminder, 4 teams will go through, and this is the final week, so it's gonna be hard to get NPH out of there, but we're going to see if Sushi Rats can make it in.
And I
And
and Nose Pro here can still make it in even if they lose because like Hishar was pointing out, they're playing Sushi Rats this week. So Bread
true,
Ape can just destroy Sushi Rats and then they have no chance to make it in.
that's true. They're going to need a big win into Bread Ape. They can win just to their merits if they can 20-0 Bread Ape or 17-0.
But if there ever is an outside chance for a team to come in, Faction, this would be the week to do it just because of the matchups. Red Ape is playing Sushi Rats and For the Clowns is playing No Pros here. that gives Sushi Rats not Sushi Rats faction a really good chance to get in there because I believe they're playing one of the weaker teams, Swagoi, I believe. I'm not mistaken.
Well, I mean,
Um,
they are still 16 points back from NPH, so I wouldn't call it a really good chance.
Well, I'm
yeah,
not a really good chance, but like if anyone was ever in this
Right,
position,
fair enough. Like,
yeah,
yeah,
Make Love Not Warcraft is on a bye, and Sushi Rats is playing the defending champs. So you really maybe only have to beat one team. Is kind of what you're saying,
yeah,
assuming the defending champs, beat up on Sushi Rats, and faction has, a sliver of a chance.
yeah.
yeah.
I will keep us moving now to the pink conference, and to do it a little bit different this time, Agent PWE, tell me about pink conference. Since you haven't told us about any pro conference or any series conference other than BG's, how is pink doing?
All right, so with pink, we have the top four stretching from the 129 at the 5. Boxing Wizards jumped quickly. I can only imagine that there's not more to that team name, but quick. I don't even know if that says quickly. Regardless, they are sitting somewhat comfortably in first, although it looks like Popeye's spicy chicken sandwich just 3 points behind them.
Popeyes
But
is
on their
quite
bye week,
one.
so they're not gonna pass them. But Popeyes at 126 with the bye. We got Sheepies at 117 and APM at 116. So the top four, similar to Black, are looking pretty set, but F2L 10 points out and Undivided 12 points out. And then MMW, Group Process, and Point Locked and Loaded all looking like they cannot mathematically pull it off, but maybe they can compete for not getting last. Uh,
Or keep
but
someone
yeah,
else out of playoffs. That's always fun.
that's right. You can. It's always fun to gatekeep when you know that you yourself have no chance, but you could say that you maybe did something preventing a different team from getting in.
Yeah, I
True.
think as Bone Masher pointed out in the THL server, though, that this week we have 3 versus 5 and 4 versus 6 in the pink conference. So that will be interesting.
Yeah.
But Popeyes is very, very close to mathematical certainty. It would have to be like a 23-10 week where every
Yeah.
match is a 3-2 in one direction.
Yeah, I would be kind of shocked if that happens. Not betting money there. Um,
Is always a nerve-wracking moment though when you can't play in the final week. Popeye's getting that final week bye. They're like, I think we did enough. We did enough, right? No, but we don't get past, right? It looks good. I gotta say, it looks good.
yeah. Now,
Yeah,
bringing
for them to get out knocked out, F2L has to sweep Sheepies, and that's
yeah.
Yeah.
And Sheepies would have to get 10 points while getting swept.
that's true. That is
Yeah.
true.
I will bring in for our first match, DeSharmo. Let's talk about Sheepies. How did Sheepies do versus Mancrick's multiple wives?
Yeah, I remember when Mancrick Multiple Wives was a team. I believe it was last season, or was it 2 seasons ago? And they were a team everyone sort of just blew off as saying, this is not a good team. And they started off the season hot, really hot, beating some really good teams. And then slowly they started to not perform as well as they did. But it does show that they do have shown that they are they do have some solid team members and solid players in the team, especially their 1 seed in Wild Nine, who's been I've seen him around the THL, but the past couple seasons, Wild Nine is tearing a lot of the series and doing an amazing job. And right now, kind of, sort of carrying Mancrick's Multiple Wives with this 6-1 record, with the best he can. But the Sheepies just showing that they're a strong team. And the Sheepies is a team, like, you look at their roster, it's gross too. Like, every pro team roster is gross. So,
Yes.
there's 2 players who are under 50, but they're just 1 point off of that. So, looking at the wins here, we got 3-0, 2-3-0 sweeps by Scion Sheepies and Always Lethal. You always like to see those in pro. and then a really strong 3-1 in the 5 seed for over Mikas over Lefty. And then again, the surprising one for me was Why the Hunter getting beat by Wild9, but not surprising because Wild9 has really been picking up his game. So
Yes.
good job on the Sheepies. I think this really, this win right here, sort of kind of just, they're probably most likely in the playoffs. Just don't suck next week.
Yeah. Now, Agent PW, any final comments on Sheepies versus Mancrex multiple vibes?
Uh, Sheepy's kind of just taking advantage of this low scoring team and getting some uh, free points, as some may say. Uh, they're looking
Yeah,
pretty good to make playoffs. If they lost, it might have been a little sus, but I
fair.
think they're in a good spot.
Yeah, and
Now,
their only 2 losses are 2 threes. So
yeah. Now, hopping into our final match of the night, I'm going to call Ron for this one. Ron, tell me about Undivided versus Gru Process.
All right. So Undivided is technically not out of it. They could actually even jump ahead of Popeyes if they get, a full sweep week and 23 points. But the first step towards, making it a sliver of a chance, as we've talked about, is getting this big win over Group Process here, and 18-9, uh, keeps them mathematically alive. As they've got Sensei Six did lose a very close one in a 5-game series to Rice Bowl, who's having a nice season for group process, but the rest of the team really came through when they needed it. Kelthrag with a 3-1, Chewy with a 3-0 sweep over Solo Jazz, Starlax getting a 5-game win over Goose, and Dreadhead. Boolean's been great in another series this season, but unfortunately he's having a rocky pro season. Dreadhead getting that big 3-2 win for extra points for his team. Undivided, they could possibly make it. It most likely won't happen because the gap is a bit too wide. But it's cool to see that with very little time left, they did everything that they needed to do to make sure that they still have that chance. Group process, unfortunately for them, the season. I think has finally come to a close before the season has ended, and now they can try to play spoiler in the last week.
Yeah. Um, so I will move us so we don't completely blow our time. DeSharmo, why don't you tell me who is going to make the Pro Power Rankings?
absolutely. We're going to start with the honorable mentions here. We got, I guess I'll start from the bottom. Avi at 4-3. Then Why the Hunter at 5-2. Your Mumpkit at 5-2. Rebobson at 5-2, and Quake Lord at 5-2. Good players there.
Mm-hmm. And who actually broke the record and made top 10?
Yes, we still have an undefeated player in pro. That's ridiculous.
That's
Um,
crazy.
and and it is not one of the names that normally you see as undefeated. And that person is Donkey. Donkey is 7-0. Yes, he is the guy who is the owner of Donkey.top, the website. If you've ever gone there, the website that we use. So that is the guy. He's
Yes.
7-0, 21-7 record. That is ridiculous. He's lost 7 games. That means on average he lost 1 game per series, meaning not even close. Then we got in second place Myanodon. Very similar record, 22-10 on a tear as well. Pocket Train, Nails, number 4, Dardar Binks, Valdis, Eat Shock, and then we got that guy. Then Wild Nine, and
Yep.
then McVanterface. Ron Mexico, and
Who's
the 8.
that?
And then
Yeah, that's a
McVanterface.
rigged one. I paid off Donde for that spot.
Fair. Um, awesome. Those are some really cool pro player power rankings. Any final thoughts about pro before we come into our casting screen for checkout question and goodbye for the night?
I gotta say, I'm kind of surprised with how I mean, some of them were still rigged, yeah, sure, but a lot less than I'm used to, you know? Congrats to Donkey on no longer getting scammed and getting the number one spot. That's awesome. And he's having a hell of a season. That's really cool to see.
Yeah, for sure. Um, Bringing us back as a group here. First of all, I want to thank everyone who's been a part of the show, all of our viewers. We had great viewership tonight. Always happy to be here and do this show for you all. We're here having fun the whole time, and we hope you're all having fun as well. If you have any feedback, you can always DM me. Always looking to improve the show. Um, as I say goodbye to all the casters, I will have my special Lotus checkout question of the night. And the question that I am asking you all is, what is your pick for the surprising team that is going to break our sights and make playoffs that we're not expecting in any series, or that will win BGs if you want to go with a BGs team? And I'm going to start with the one and only Ron Mexico first.
All right. Surprise playoff team, huh? Um, I'm gonna
Dun,
have to
dun, dun.
call our own shot and say Amber Flight Gaming makes playoffs in Silver Conference of Legacy Series, despite being let's call it what it really is. Neji Flight Gaming is making playoffs. Neji carries us all the way there, and we get in despite even with a win this week, we would be sub 500.
Nice.
Still get there.
Awesome.
Yeah, exactly, Super Chicken. You definitely don't expect it to happen, so it's a good surprise pick, right?
And Ron, any final thoughts for tonight's show?
Just glad to be here as always. Super happy to have such great guests in always just in time who made it on time to the call. And Agent, please wait. I forgot what the E stood for actually when Diamond coined, but who made it just barely in time for the call. It was please wait, everyone. That's what it is. But yeah, it was a fun show, fun night, and glad to have you guys here.
Yeah. Um, I want to call as our second goodbye, Desharmo. Any special calls for the team that we're not seeing that is going to make the playoffs? And any final words as I thank you for being here tonight?
Yeah, I'm gonna throw a team out there. I don't think anyone's expecting to make playoffs, and I'm gonna say Hot Zilfs. They're only 5 points out of the playoffs, and a nice little butt whooping on the team they're playing this next week could easily thrust them into playoffs. And they might just say come back and be repeat champions if they do that.
Ooh, that would
Probably
be
not, but
spicy.
yeah.
Any final words you want to say before we finish, Sharmo?
No, amazing show, amazing everything. This last Maniac Monday was amazing. I gotta give a shout out to the Wild community. Whenever
Yes.
I do Wild Maniac Mondays, they always come out. They always are showing up, uh, and it almost makes me want to make Maniac Mondays wild focused because of how awesome they are, and they show up. And I love that we are able to show them some love,
Yeah.
and give them some tournaments and stuff. And congratulations to darn, I was going to say his name, but I completely forgot.
Tiger Eye.
Tiger Eye. There we go. Tiger Eye for winning the
Yeah.
tournament. And then Shia, a very good streamer player coming in second.
Yeah. Those were some amazing finals, even if we had Pirate Warrior high rolls all around. As
Yeah,
for
and then that OTK mage that you can OTK people on turn 5 and 6. It's
yeah,
gross.
that was a thing.
Oh,
I want to call our next player to ask whether he thinks what team he thinks is going to be our surprise team to make playoffs or to win a series that we're not seeing right now. Agent PWE, any final words and any team you really think is coming in here?
All right. So Desharmo took my pick. So instead of saying who I think will make it in, who's looking on from the outside. I predict that the Cult Legacy, who is currently sitting in second in Gold Conference in Legacy, are going to get completely shut down this week, and then all the teams below them, or enough of them, three of them, will rise up to fill the spot, and then they will choke and not make it. I mostly say that because we're playing them this week, so we'll just stomp them 20-0, and then the hot take won't look so hot after it inevitably happens.
Yeah. Hear that, Quaz?
Wow. Bold picks.
Yeah. I do want to thank you for being here tonight. It was great having you, Agent PW. I hope you had fun.
Yeah, it was a great night. I enjoyed getting to be on here with everyone, and I
Yeah,
look forward to doing it or something similar in the future.
for sure. Last but definitely not least, Justin, I know you always bring the spiciest of picks. What do you have for us tonight? What team are we not seeing that is definitely making the playoffs? And any final words you want to say? I want to thank you a lot for being here. I had a ton of fun having you around. I hope you enjoyed the show a lot.
Thanks for that long introduction. Yeah, I mean, I guess you're hoping I have something spicy after everyone stole all the good ones. I don't know. Pee Wee, is NPH making playoffs in Hero?
I'd rather not answer that.
Come on, give me a yes or a no. I have things prepared for whatever you say. I
Uh,
had things prepared for both yes and no, but not for not for no
no,
comment. Give me
then
something to go
no.
off of here, bud.
It's not looking good. No.
Okay, hot take. They're making the playoffs then. Easy.
Okay. You're
Nice.
hearing here first. I'm going to do one of the easiest to confirm ones, but I'm going to claim that Risky Refresh wins Battleground series. And
Whoa.
Steffi, make it happen. But Justin, any final words for tonight?
Uh, Nothing special. Just this holiday season. Hold some thoughts for a special Justin in your life.
Awesome. I believe that is it for our show tonight. I want to thank you all for watching one more time. I want to thank Ron Mexico, DeSharmo, always just in time, and Agent PW for joining me. There's a lot of content still incoming this week. Just keep your eyes out. Tomorrow, Tavern Talk. Bish and his crew are coming with a very, very special episode where they're going to do much more detailed predictions of who's making the playoffs, who's winning. They're the ones who are good at that kind of thing, not us. Um, Afterwards, on Thursday, Wild and Out comes back in to tell you all about the Wild series, which we don't cover anymore. After that, there's going to be a spicy match with Lotus Knight versus Donde on Thursday night. And there are going to be match streams on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So keep your eyes out. There's a lot of action incoming. If you would like to play on stream, you can DM me, Lotus Knight, or you can DM Saku. And we'll be sure to find you a time slot. Always happy to have stream matches. All levels are welcome, etc., etc. You've heard my spiel by now. You know what I say every time. But I believe that is it for us tonight. Next week we'll be back at the same time, so join us then. Have a good night, everyone, and we'll see you all later.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.